Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to talk about arrows and bows and their types and their benefits and what it takes to make them. So we'll start with the crafting. So to make a wooden bow, obviously, wood and flax, war bow, wood, sinew, and bear claw, sinew-backed bow, wood, sinew, stag's horn, hunter's bow, wood, and sinew. And then there's two other bows, which we'll talk about in a minute, that would come with like a founder's pack or whatnot. So the easiest to make is the wooden bow with wood and flax, pretty easy to find. The damage is fairly low, but to start out with, it's not bad. They also break pretty quick, so when you're taking them out, I would suggest carrying 2 or 3 bows. The range is pretty minimal, but they're fairly quiet, and they can shoot a wooden or a stun arrow. The war bow, which is a pretty advanced bow, it takes wood, sinew, and bear claws. Very good damage, very hard hitter. Pretty decent range, about mid-range. Same loudness. Most bows are going to be 4 meters. You know, they can hear it within 4 meters. But they take heavy arrows and toxin arrows, and we'll talk about the arrows in a minute. Sinew-backed bow, which is my personal favorite because its damage is pretty high up there and its range is the most. And it can shoot wooden arrows, regular arrows, and medium arrows. This is again my favorite, not only because of its range, but because it can shoot regular arrows, which takes the same amount as wooden arrows, but you can pick up the regular arrows again, and they're super easy to make, and your warriors can actually make them fairly simply from any camp. And then hunter's bow, which is my second favorite, has pretty decent damage, about medium range, and then it can shoot regular arrows, stun arrows, and sound arrows. And we'll talk a little bit about why this is a great hunting bow in just a few minutes. So, the arrows. Regular arrow can be made with just wood. Heavy arrow takes wood, sinew, and wolf claw. Iron arrow is a little harder to come by because you have to find iron arrowheads in, say, a mine or a larger settlement. And wood. Medium arrows with wood, sinew, and boar tusk. These are shot with your special bows like the Ancestor and then the sinew-backed bow, which is one that you can make. These are pretty hard-hitting arrows. Then we have our specialty arrows. We have sound arrow, wood, gunpowder, and stone. Makes a noise when it hits, and we'll go into that in just a second. We have our stun arrow, which obviously by the name you can take that it stuns its target. Similar to if you shot them with the regular arrow, but it's a longer duration. Toxin arrow, which are fairly difficult to find because you have to find a lot of medicine. But this creates a cloud of sleeping toxin where it falls. So this could be used if you got enough of them to shoot into a camp, and you can put a camp to sleep, and we'll see if we can showcase that later. And then of course your wooden arrows. These are easy to make and easy to break. So once you shoot these, you'll never pick them back up. So let's go into shooting and testing out the arrows and the reticles of some of these bows. Start with wooden bow. So when you press 1 and you're trying to select your bow, you can also select the type of ammo or the arrows that you're shooting. So wooden arrow versus stun arrow. So we'll just do wooden arrow. You'll see the reticle close fairly quickly. Do that a few times. About 1.5, 2 seconds. Till it's fully closed is about 3 seconds. And then it's got a regular sound. And again, these break pretty quick and you won't be able to pick up those arrows. Let's try a stun arrow in that bow. Same sound unless you're hitting a target, and we'll show that in a minute. Let's go to hunter's bow, again my second favorite, with the regular arrows. So the reticle on this one is almost instantly fully closed. So you can get a very accurate shot pretty quick. So if you're getting chased down by a bear, wolf, boar, whatnot, or people, the soldiers or whatever, you can get off pretty quick shots, pretty quick succession that are fairly accurate within that, I think, 70-yard range. So we got our stun arrows and then our sound arrows. These will work the same as any sound bait, except instantaneous on impact, and you can vary the distance because you're shooting it from a bow. Alright, so let's talk about the Ancestor's Bow. The Ancestor's Bow is pretty cool. Comes with the Founder's package. You have the regular arrows, iron arrows, medium arrows, stun arrows. Pretty much shoots anything you want it to shoot. Reticle on this is pretty nice. It doesn't close super quick, but it doesn't have far to close. So essentially, the dot appears in the middle about the same time as, per se, a hunter's bow closes in. The release on these is a little different at full draw. Kind of get a whistle sometimes. So let's go to the bow. This one you'll probably find in the camp at some point. I guess it's like a manufactured sort of bow. It only takes iron arrows. So again, much like the hunter's bow, this one closes in fairly quickly, and when it's almost essentially a straight line across is when it's fully focused to maximum range. Same sound as usual. Then the sinew-back bow, probably the highest quality bow you can craft in the game, and it comes with wooden arrows, or medium arrows, and we'll go with wooden arrows for now. Has a similar reticle as some of the others. The draw is a little slower on it, probably because it's a longer bow versus the wooden bow. It's quick draw. Quick draw. The sinew-back bow is a little harder. Not by much. Then we have the war bow, which shoots heavy arrows and toxin arrows. So the heavy arrows takes a long time to get that full draw, but it'll hit like a tank. And its sound is pretty nice too. So it takes quite a while to focus in, but once it's focused, it's got decent range and it will hit. Sometimes it'll drop them in one hit, if you don't even get a headshot. And the toxin arrows, what we're all waiting for. Again, it takes a little bit of resource to make the toxin arrows, but the effect is pretty cool. See that cloud of dust there? There it is. The only arrows that you can't pick up are going to be those wooden arrows. Pretty good duration on that. Alright, so I've come upon this camp here, and we're going to test out a few of these arrows.
I'm empty. There's an enemy over there.
Ooh,
Taking cover.
war bow with heavy arrows. It's pretty dang hard.
There's an enemy.
2 shots to the chest. There we go. So a stun arrow gives you the opportunity to intimidate him. And we got wolves.
There's an enemy over there.
And there's your quick but long tutorial on bows, bow damage, arrows, and how to craft. Now don't forget to upgrade your bow damage and your skills so that you can hit harder and take out the enemies a bit quicker, and you can unlock these different recipes.